welcome to the channel if you're new, or if you're not, I'm Alicia and I'm so happy you're here either way. I am so excited because so many people have been like, when are the bentos coming back? Now, this is the first bento box video of the year. Woohoo! Oops, hit the mic. I'm sharing a breakfast box and a lunch or dinner box, which can hopefully give you some inspiration and ideas for healthy meals. But remember, the goal is not for you to necessarily recreate these boxes exactly. It's more just a fun way to present the recipes. So I encourage you to take what you want, make it your own. For breakfast, we're starting off with some easy oat flour pancakes. I made my own oat flour by blending up oats in the food processor or blender. Use certified gluten-free if needed. And then the rest of the ingredients for the pancakes get added right into that same blender, which keeps this recipe super easy. In goes your milk of choice, eggs, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, and vanilla extract. You can also just whisk this mixture if preferred. It should be pretty thick when you're done with it, and if you let the mixture sit, it is going to thicken, so just be aware and know that you can always add another splash of milk and thin it out if needed. I like the batter to be thick because these pancakes get so fluffy. Preheat your pan and then add your batter. For the bento, I made little silver dollar mini pancakes with a tablespoon cookie scoop. They take only about a minute on each side before bubbles indicate that they're ready to flip, and voila! Perfect little pancakes served with syrup for dipping. But this batter works great for bigger pancakes too. Give them about 2 minutes before flipping, though of course depending on size. They're so fluffy. They're not too dense but are definitely filling. I love to serve mine with fruit and syrup or whipped cream, but you can go crazy with your favorite toppings. Actually, let me know in the comments, what toppings do you like on your pancakes? In the next compartment for breakfast, we have got a super easy banana bread that requires only 5 ingredients. Into your blender goes ripe bananas. Brown and spotty will mean more sweetness, along with flour, eggs, maple syrup or honey, and baking soda. You can also add in cinnamon, salt, or any mix-ins like nuts or chocolate chips, but I did not because I wanted to show that this loaf actually only requires the 5 ingredients. Pretty cool. Once the batter is in the loaf pan, get it into the oven and bake until a toothpick comes out clean. Let it cool completely before cutting. Holy moly, it is tasty. I love to toast it up with a little bit of butter, but it's sweet, light, and satisfying. The texture is cakey and moist, making for a perfect quick bread that I can whip up in just a few minutes with a few basic pantry items. Yes! Next, I have got some hard-boiled eggs, but these babies were made in the oven, so I guess they're hard-baked eggs. This is my new favorite way to boil eggs. I do love Instant Pot boiled eggs, which I think is actually technically steaming the eggs, but preheating the Instant Pot can be so annoying, so I decided to try this out and it worked amazingly. I took a mini muffin tin and added some little muffin liners and then added the eggs, and into the oven they go. Now the liners are optional, but they do help prevent the eggs and the shells from getting these little brown spots. It's just aesthetic, but if it bothers you. The keys to this recipe are getting the oven temperature right. So 325 was perfect for me, but some people may need their ovens to be at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, getting the timing right. So 20 to 30 minutes tends to work best. I do 30 for hard boiled or hard baked, but you can also do less for a softer center, like a soft boiled or soft baked egg, if you will. And then the last thing is use an ice bath. So get those eggs into water and ice right away when they come out of the oven. And then don't wait too long to peel them. So once you can handle them in just 5 or 10 minutes, peel them immediately and they're gonna be really, really easy to peel. If you wait longer than 10 minutes though, and then refrigerate them in the shell, some people have said it's hard to peel. So you do you. Either way, I love having these ready to go for the week. Okay, last for breakfast, I have a hearty fruit salad. It is taking fruit salad to the next level, combining strawberries, raspberries, avocado, lemon juice, macadamia nuts, mint leaves, and feta crumbles. Say what? Okay, here's the thing. I love fruit salad, but a lot of times fruit alone at breakfast doesn't satisfy me. I get hungry an hour later, and it makes sense because, you know, the carbs and sugar spike my insulin. This is normal. Adding some fat with the nuts and the avocado and the cheese in this this recipe, it helps keep me full. Plus, I like the variety in the texture and flavor. This fruit salad actually ends up working out to be technically a low carb or keto friendly, although I'm hesitant to say that. I'm not on a ketogenic diet, but I still enjoy this salad and find it completely satisfying. This breakfast box is clearly a lot for a single meal, but there are some ideas for you to explore as you consider creative breakfast ideas. I hope you enjoy. Next, lunch. Although first, I have to remind you to subscribe and hit the bell for more recipe, bento, and relationship with food content. I share new videos every Thursday. Okay, on to that entree box, which could be lunch or it could be dinner. First is an easy chicken salad that's actually paleo or Whole30 approved. This was sort of an accident and is really just because the mayo that I used didn't have added sugar, but you could use your favorite mayonnaise with the same recipe. First, I need the chicken. I find poaching chicken in the water is best for chicken salad if I want the protein to be shredded, which I prefer. Just bring water and chicken to a boil and then reduce the heat for about 10 minutes until it's cooked through to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. To shred it, get this, I actually use a hand mixer. I read about this online and I was skeptical, and then my sister walked in on me doing this in my kitchen and was like, "Have you lost your mind?" It actually worked. I had to cut it into half breasts or so, and at first it took a little finagling, but it ended up working really well and it was less irritating than shredding the chicken apart with 2 forks. Pretty neat. For the salad itself, first I whisked together mayo. Remember to use Whole30 approved or paleo or whatever if needed. Dijon mustard, tarragon, which is my ultimate favorite herb for a chicken salad, lemon juice, and salt and pep. Then I can add in some of that shredded chicken along with grapes or apples. I kind of switch off, but today I went with grapes, as well as celery, walnuts or your favorite nut, and green onion. That all gets tossed a coat and voila, a delicious chicken salad. It's so good on its own. Savory with a hint of sweetness, and that texture is so good. The crunchy nuts with the plump grapes and the chicken is a win. You could also enjoy it on a sandwich or a bed of greens. Today, I decided to make some homemade gluten-free pita bread. For this pita, I whisked together gluten-free all-purpose flour. I have found the Cup for Cup brand to be the best. This is not sponsored, it's just my personal preference, and I find that it substitutes really well in most baked goods. That gets mixed with baking powder, baking soda, and salt. Separately, I whisk together plain yogurt, milk of choice, and coconut oil. I heat that in the microwave for about 30 seconds to warm it before adding the dry ingredients to the wet and stirring it into a dough. Now hear me clearly. Do not overmix this. If you do, your pita will become too hard after baking. So once you see that the flour is integrated into the mixture and it can hold together when pressed, go ahead and stop mixing and start forming your little pita, even if it seems a little bit crumbly. I used a cookie scoop to make mini ones for this bento box, but feel free to make them larger too. Press them down into flat circles, about 1/8 of an inch thick, and do not worry about them being perfect. Rustic is cute. Those go onto a floured pan and bake for about 10 minutes before flipping and baking for just another few. They're so chewy and delicious. Of course, they're fantastic warm and fresh, but even later, they're really good, and I like to heat them in the microwave for a couple of seconds if I do have one accessible. These are really more like naan than pita technically, since they have yogurt and they don't have a pocket in them, but they can serve a similar purpose and they pair perfectly with my homemade chicken salad. This box needs vegetables, so how about a Mediterranean salad? I add rough chopped arugula to a bowl with chickpeas, cucumber, cherry tomatoes, red onion, feta, oregano, cracked black pepper, salt, and a drizzle of olive oil and red wine vinegar. For sure, you will want to season this to taste, so start with less oil, vinegar, and salt and pepper, adding to your preference. I love salads like this because of how easy they are to whip up and how versatile they are. So if you don't have chickpeas, you can omit them or sub a different bean. If you don't have tomatoes, you can add bell peppers or anything else. There are no rules here, so don't feel confined to the recipe. At the end of the day, I end up with a tasty and healthy way to get in some colorful and nutritious produce, and when it's easy, I'm more likely to actually make it. Okay, I also have been wanting to try out tortilla chips in the air fryer. So here it is. Heads up, it's a great idea. It's too easy, and I thought they were better than when I make tortilla chips in the oven. I cut corn tortillas into wedges. I and then spray them down with cooking spray. I used avocado oil spray and sprinkled with salt. Now, I only did this on one side because flipping is a pain, and it worked fine. They go into the preheated air fryer. The thing is, make sure you do a single layer. So this is kind of the biggest downside. You will have to do this in batches, but the good news is they only take 6 to 8 minutes. So 6 minutes yielded a lighter colored chip. 8 minutes was crispier, you do you. I did not flip my chips in the air fryer and they worked totally fine. These also lasted for a few days on the counter and stayed crispy. That is, they lasted until I ate them all. They were so good, and you could totally get creative with the flavorings by using different seasonings. I decided to pair the chips with a super simple guac. This is my basic guacamole, so if I have these 4 ingredients, I'm set. Ripe avocados, lime juice, garlic, and salt. That's it. Now, of course, you could add mix-ins like tomatoes, cilantro, onions, salsa, spices, etc. And sometimes I do, but the bare minimum guacamole is so tasty and satisfying to me. I love chips and dip. So that's the last box of the day. Again, these recipes could totally pair together as I've shown, but the idea was just to give you some inspiration. I hope you enjoyed. I did link all of the recipes in the description box, and you can also easily print them off there if you'd like to try them out. And if you do, let me know. Also, let me know if there are recipes you'd like to see or bento box theme ideas you have. I'm gonna try and do more bento boxes this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week with a brand new video, and remember, it's all a matter of mind over munch.